to the O'Connell Center. Things are heating up. The Super 6 Challenge continues. Rotation number 4 coming up next. From the University of Florida here in Gainesville, this is the Super 6 Challenge. We're at the Stephen C. O'Connell Center, the best in women's gymnastics, happening after 3 rotations. The number 1 team in America, UCLA. The number 2 team in America, Georgia, at 1-2. Alabama, Penn State, Florida, and LSU. Along with Kathy Johnson-Clark, I'm Chris Marlowe. We expected UCLA to be good, and the Bruins have been, but Georgia's hanging right with them.
This is a big meet for this early in the season, and both UCLA and Georgia are handling it beautifully, doing a big level of gymnastics, doing it cleanly, and boy, are they close. Now, UCLA has to go to beam and floor still. They shine on floor, but beam is beam. It is where they captured the national title, though, last year. And Georgia has to go to bars and beam. So it's going to be tight all the way through.
Any one performer impressed you so far?
All of them. I mean, Ani Willis, being the defending national champion, I think is doing very, very well. Everybody is, particularly early in the season. I know I keep saying that, but it's really amazing that they get going this quickly.
Valerie Kondos-Field is the head coach for UCLA. She is in her 12th season. 225 and 47, and earlier she talked about her national championship run.
We do talk about the fact that there's no such thing as a big meet. And anytime our student athletes put on a leotard and their grips and throw some shotgun, they're expected to train or compete with as much integrity as they can, whether it be in a gym or in a meet where there's 500 people in the stands, or at a national championship, or the Super 6 like this.
Interestingly, she is a disciple of the great John Wooden, the basketball coach, teaches many of the principles that he did. So Alabama on vault, Penn State on bars, UCLA on beam, and on floor will be LSU. Florida and Georgia have byes. Christy Tedman will lead it off for the Bruins. She's on beam. Tedman, a freshman from Carmichael, California.
Great opportunity here to gain some experience. All the coaches here are really trying to give their freshmen, their newcomers, some experience so that they can build on that through the season and go to them when they need them.
Her father, Scott, was a Bruin all the way. Valerie Kondos telling me that she was born to be a Bruin. Had a picture of her on the Bruin Bear, I think, when she was 4 years old. Little wobble there.
See a little bit of nerves in her face, a little tightness, and checking everything. As you get the confidence, you attack the landing. You assume you're going to sit, not assume you're going to make a mistake.
Yep. Oh, man.
Gosh.
And her foot just slipped off the bar. And luckily, she wasn't hurt.
Oh, boy. Well,
it may have gotten her ankle.
You know what I think it did? Possibly her foot, because anytime you get part of the beam and you kind of snap, you hurt the ankle or the foot. I think it's like, I'd be willing to bet it's her foot. Let's see. She just misses it, but she snaps it. Yep. Oh, boy. A little disoriented.
She goes to get up, and this is where she notices that she's still the competitor. And the pain sets in for Christy Tedman. So Tedman with the bag of ice now. And because of the fall, her score lowered to an 8.9. So UCLA may struggle a bit here beam-wise. Remember, they count 5 of the 6 scores. And with Tedman's low score, they'll have to hit the other 5.
The rest of the competitors are all veterans, and they know their job to pick up.
Alabama on vault. And here is the great Andrea Pickens from Houston, Texas. How does this event affect you when you've had the Achilles problem, the vault?
Depends on how you land. She's going to land facing the horse, which should be a little easier. You don't want to come in short, though. It's actually the other way around. If she was facing out, I would say it would be less stressful on that Achilles, but she vaults so well. And if her technique will take her up high enough and rotate far enough, she'll come straight in for the landing, and it shouldn't torque that Achilles very much.
Here she goes.
She might not go for a step. Then again, she might just nail it. You would never know.
David Patterson giving her a high five.
Sarah says they are holding her back. They are trying to get her to put on her brakes. She really wants to get on floor again. They're easing her back into tumbling. That's going to be the hardest thing on the Achilles.
Well, she's really the key for the Tide's national championship hopes. They have to have her at 100%.
Absolutely. She is huge. And this is a very, very nice ball.
9.925 for Andrea Pickens. Crimson Tide winning the first two Super 6 challenges. Penn State loosening up for bar routines. And Katie Rowland, the junior from Georgetown, Ontario, Canada, set, ready to go. Penn State's coached by Steve Shepard, second in the Big Ten to Michigan a year ago. And their goal this year is a reasonable goal, is to get to the Super 6. Just get there. They don't have any illusions about winning the NCAA championship. They'd just like to get there if they could.
You have to do these things incrementally. You say it.
Or
Thank
incrementally.
You. Thank you very much. You have to take little steps to get there. And they're really going about it very methodically. Getting in the best shape they can, upgrading their difficulty, getting consistent.
The goal here is to compete with consistency, hit the routines, and stay on the beam. So let's see Rowland. Here she goes.
That was a nice transition right to handstand. The first pirouettes weren't quite in handstand. And the release move, not huge and spectacular, but very nicely done. Clean exercise.
And a solid landing.
Steady.
Rotation 4. Continuing. We're going to come back to the Super 6 Challenge. We'll have more right after this. Clark back at the O'Connell Center, Gainesville, Florida. The Super 6 Challenge continuing. Katie Rowland for her bars routine at 9.8, which is very, very good. Now, let's go back to the balance beam. Here is the two-time Canadian Olympian Yvonne Tusek. And a big performance for her coming up.
They need a big performance. Fortunately, Kristen Parker came back after two low scores and scored a 9.775. Now they really need to build on that. Yvonne is so unique, very original in her choreography and in her movement, both on floor and beam.
Remember, Christy Tedman had a fall. She received just an 8.9. And they're counting 5 out of 6, so Tusek needs to hit.
They also have a 9.05 that they need to drop. They really need some huge scores here. This is when you like having an Olympian and that experience of somebody who can handle some pressure. Watch this. This is the Tusek side back kick. Very smooth. Good job.
Tusek, a 9.825. So UCLA continues.